So finally getting a chance to take a look at this. Um, let's keep concentrating on the bust. I would say now looking at the actual sculptural detail, um, let's just let's just erase this and kind of start with structure again, because the primary and secondary shapes to me feel kind of soft. So I think you're getting some pretty decent textures if this was the base mesh that we were building everything off of, because the textures are starting to hide some flaws in the model. So we're going to work the model a bit more, go back to the high-res detail, and then go back to your textured scene. So definitely seeing growth in your last month here at Full Sail, but let's start pushing this really into that professional mindset. So I want you to find some sort of planes of the face. You can go to my Pinterest board. I got tons of them. This is more of a female's. Um, so I would say take one that has a fair amount of planes so that you can kind of study. This one would be all secondaries. This one has all the secondaries. This one would be kind of the primaries. Um, so if you want to start with this and then cut into the secondaries, that's fine as well. Looks like I pinned this one twice. But over here, I just kind of sculpted through to kind of show you. First, I took all that detail off, and you can kind of see how flat your face looks compared to over here. So I'm going to use clay tubes, Damien Standard, a little bit of move brush, and a lot of trim dynamic. And the trim dynamics to help me get those planes in the face. So I'll just kind of step through my history here. And you'll see I'm starting to establish some of the planes, some of the main forms in the nose. You'll watch me break out into the eye after I get a couple of these structures in the nose here. And with the eye, you can see how your brow is kind of flat. Oh, looks like I moved down to the lip next, sorry. So I'm getting the pillars of the lip, I'm getting more definition on the chin. I'm starting to get a bit more of those flat planes that go across the top by the fulcrum. You can see me starting to hack away a little bit with the trim dynamic brush down by the lips. Now I'm starting to get some of the structures in the eyebrow area. You're going to see me get some of these major planes established pretty quick. And look how loose I'm staying with it. You know, it feels a lot like clay. It's more about the shadows and forms, but if you look at down here on your model, you're not getting any of these shadows. You're not getting nice gradients across here. I'm starting to get some more structure to the cheeks, but it's not there yet. It's these shadows and forms that add complexity to our model, and also allows us to recognize it as a human face, because we're used to seeing those shadows and highlights. So I keep kind of plugging along here, getting that cheekbone, getting that eye socket refined a little bit more, starting to get that temporal ridge defined a little bit more between the temporal ridge and the frontal bone there. You'll start here seeing me block out the shadow from the cheekbone and the master. Let me scrub back a bit. So right here I'm trying to get that nice angle on where your master would be, and that helps to kind of define between the jawline and that cheekbone. Pretty important structure. You'll see I'm starting to cut in a little bit and add to the cheekbone. Now watch here, I add way too much clay, because part of it with sculpting is additive and subtractive process. So I'm going to add too much here. I'm going to go in with the trim dynamic, and I'm going to start picking the angles and the structures that I want to see. So I'm not going completely off this face because it doesn't match yours, but I'm going to start getting some of these angles that I would see in more of a Caucasian male. So you'll see I'm just kind of hacking down with that trim dynamic, starting to get the angles going back towards the eye socket structure. Right there, I was having an issue where my symmetry was off. So I just did a quick mirror and weld under modified topology. So plugging along on the brow a bit more. Here we're going to go in, start getting some of the zygomaticus muscles in there, get that structure going. Start getting a nice flow between the mouth, the cheeks, and the smile liner. So again, adding way too much here. and way too much here. And I'm still too far out on the cheeks. You'll see later the cheekbone's actually too far forward, and I bring all this back. Walk along here a little bit more. Focus down there at the mouth. Bring in the cheeks, restructure the head a bit. You see me use the move tool there real quick, trying to get some proportions and a couple things located in the right spot. So this is kind of where I'm at right now with it. So again, I would kind of keep plugging with this. The Damien Standard works really well too. You see right here, there's not much structure to that eye. I would actually get the sphere inside of here, because my guess is going to be is that this does not follow that sphere, which makes your shapes feel flat, right? So I'm going to predict that the shape would be a little bit more like this. And then an eye shape would be the outer lower part of the eye should be the lowest part, so it's going to drop a little bit like that. And this over here is actually the highest part to an eye, and it should taper down this way. And then I would just come through here and start establishing that eyelid where it kind of angles backwards, and then we would have that secondary bag that happens before it hits the cheekbone. So over here you can see some of those structures, different shapes, different sizes, depending upon, you know, if it's Caucasian male or Asian, whatever the nationality would be. Bring these cheekbones up just a little bit using the move brush. Shaking out that structure a little bit more. And now I need this to angle in, so again, using Trim Dynamic, you can see how I can just kind of start flattening that off and start to get the proper planes there. And when you get these big gouges, it kind of lets you know that you're working with, at least at the beginning, kind of an improper angle. So I have a lot that needs to be kind of cut in here. So I'll sort of just start at the top, working through here, trying to establish that initial plane. Smaller brush, I'm not pushing too hard on the tablet. We might have to go back with some clay tubes to fill in some of those areas. That bone structure should come out just a little bit more, just using the move to get that. And then we can go back through with the smooth as well. And then we can start the whole plane process over again.